Beth here. I am the Fitness Princess, and I hope that you have been joining me for my series on finding food freedom. This has been such a journey for me. If you've been around my page long, you know my struggle with binge eating, emotional eating, and trying to find a happy balance between all of it. So I've been on this journey to food freedom, and today I just want to kind of wrap up this series and share exactly where I'm at on my journey and what I plan to do going forward. So in January, I did my Whole30 reset, and then after that, I was kind of in the unknown of I don't have restrictions on what I can eat. I reintroduced all the foods that we eliminated during the Whole30, and I figured out what worked for me, what didn't. I kind of had an idea, but I gained some new perspectives, and so that was awesome to learn more about how my body reacts, not just physically, but the emotional part of food, because food is emotional, whether we want it to be or not. And so with that knowledge, I went forth and planned my meals for the next several weeks, and I did pretty good. But then I realized I had some bad habits creeping back into my diet. So I decided that I was going to do a reset. And yesterday I talked about this book called Food Freedom Forever. It's an excellent book. I highly recommend reading it. But it talks about that we are not to be on our reset forever, and that if we fall off the wagon, it's okay. That's part of the process. And so I really have been encouraged by that as humans, we can't be 100% perfect. And so just using that knowledge and applying it to my eating habits has been really helpful to me. So I knew some things were creeping back in. I was being a little too lax on some foods, and I wasn't feeling my best. So I decided to do another reset, and I actually didn't choose the Whole30 this time. Last year I had done what's called the Ultimate Reset, and it's basically restoring your body back to factory settings, if you will. And so a friend asked me to do it with her, and it's really best if you do it with a buddy. So I said yes, and I'm currently in week 3 of that reset. And I am feeling really good. I'm feeling energetic. I don't have those cravings that I was having because I eliminated that out of my diet for 3 weeks. And so I'm really excited to be done with this reset and go forth in my food freedom, figuring out what foods are worth it. And in this book that I've been talking about the last couple of days, Melissa goes into saying that life isn't supposed to be all about eating healthy food 100% of the time. You're supposed to be able to have those foods that you enjoy that are less healthy. And so you just have to figure out what's worth it to you. And so I know for me, the last 3 weeks has kept me grounded. It's given me a guideline of what I need to be eating, and I've learned that I really need to be strict at meal planning and meal prepping, because when I don't meal prep, I tend to eat something way different than what's on my meal plan, or I will tend to say, I'm tired tonight, let's go out and eat. And so I need to cut down on that, and that is what I've learned about myself. When I meal prep for the entire week, I'm so much more successful. I'm so much more happier, or I am happier, because the foods that I'm putting into my body, I know are nourishing it and making me move and operate at an optimal level, and I can be happy about that. I don't have to have all of these negative physical side effects, including moodiness, because food can make us moody as well. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm doing this reset. I'm on week 3, just started week 3 today, so I have 7 more days, well, technically 6.5, who's counting? And I'm going to reintroduce some of the foods that I omitted, and we're going to see how I react. And one of the foods that's different on this reset than Whole30 is I went totally vegan for these last 2.5 weeks, and it's something that I don't plan to keep in my diet long term. I am a meat eater. I grew up on the farm, and that's just something that I love. I love steak, and I am looking forward to having steak. But I also want to be careful and reintroduce that into my diet and to see how I react, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally. So food is not just physical, it is emotional. And so we have to evaluate all aspects of the spectrum when reintroducing foods and then planning on food freedom from there. So my food freedom is going forth. I'll be meal planning, trying to stick to a clean diet, meaning full of whole foods and not many processed foods. But if something arises and I feel like it may be worth it, I will definitely make that decision in the moment. I'm not going to plan it. Because if I feel that it's not going to be worth it at that time, then I'm just going to sit back and pass on it, even though Mexican food is almost always worth it. That's my favorite food on the face of this planet. I could eat Mexican food every single day. So I'm going to plan those, what you would normally call a cheat, in the moment to see how I'm feeling. If I've already had a cupcake that day, maybe I don't want to splurge again for dinner. So I just want to see how I'm feeling in that moment and go from there and plan what I eat just based on that, knowing what is healthy for me and what's less healthy for me. And that is what my food freedom is. That's what your food freedom can be. So if you have struggled with some sort of unhealthy relationship with food, it doesn't have to be binge eating or emotional eating. It can be some totally different relationship with food. If you struggle with it, I would definitely encourage you to read that book, Food Freedom Forever. It's by Melissa Hartwig. She's one of the co-creators of the Whole30, and she even invites people who have never done Whole30 before to read it. So it's excellent. It has opened my eyes to a world of freedom that I didn't know was there, because I felt so enslaved by sugar and all of the less healthy foods, and I found myself in a hole that I did not know if I was going to be able to dig myself out of. And I don't have to feel those guilty and shameful emotions if I want to eat ice cream. I don't have to be embarrassed about it anymore, because I'm owning that decision. It's in that moment that I'm making that decision, and if I want it, by golly, I'm gonna have it. But I can't eat like that all of the time, because my body does not thrive off of those foods. So I have to keep nourishing it and keep feeding it the right things so it will work, and then in those moments I can choose. So that's where I'm at today. I am super excited to be finishing up my reset. It's my official first reset since I've started my food freedom journey. And also it talks about in the book that the longer you go in your food freedom, usually the longer you can go between resets. So I'm excited to see what I learned during this to implement into my freedom in a week, and then see how long I can go before I need another reset. So there's no shame in resetting. It's just trying to get our bodies back on track. And usually it's 30 days that you need to eliminate those foods. For me, that is. Sometimes you need a little bit longer. Just depends on how far off the deep end you've gone. And there's nothing to be ashamed about that. It's just part of the process. So that's where I'm at today. That's where I'm headed. I'm very excited for this next chapter, if you will, in my food freedom journey. And I'll keep you posted along the way. So if you are struggling at all with your eating, I am here to help. I would like to help you. So please reach out if you have questions or if you need any encouragement or if I can pray for you in any way. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.